Today, we're stepping into one of the most astonishing moments in the entire Bible, the feeding of the 5,000. A story that begins with absolute scarcity and ends with overwhelming, miraculous abundance. So, let's dive right in. Picture this. The sun is dipping low over the Sea of Galilee, painting the hillsides with warm gold. Jesus and his disciples had hoped for a quiet moment away from the crowds, a little rest after long days of teaching and healing. But that rest? It never comes, because spreading across the horizon is a massive crowd. A river of people flowing toward Jesus. Families, elders, children, the sick, the hopeful, all walking for miles just to be near him. The air is buzzing with expectation, hunger, and desperation. 5,000 men, not counting women and children. Realistically, 10 to 15,000 people gathered on a lonely hillside, like a small town forming out of nowhere. And instead of instantly performing a miracle, Jesus looks at Philip and asks a simple but impossible question. Where are we going to buy bread for all these people? Philip does the math in his head. Half a year's wages wouldn't even give everyone a single bite. But then Andrew steps forward. He doesn't have an answer, but he does have a possibility. There's a boy here, he says quietly. The boy has 5 barley loaves, the bread of the poor. Simple, rough, barely a meal for one. And 2 tiny fish, barely enough for a snack. When you compare it to the massive crowd, it almost feels laughable, insignificant, pointless. But that small, humble lunch, placed in the hands of Jesus, becomes the turning point of the entire story. Jesus tells everyone to sit down. A hush falls over the crowd, thousands seated on the hillside, watching, waiting. Jesus lifts the little meal toward heaven and gives thanks. Not for what it could be, but for what it is. Then he breaks the bread. 1 piece becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and suddenly, the impossible begins to unfold. The bread keeps multiplying, the fish keeps spreading. The disciples pass basket after basket through the crowd, and the food never runs out. Children laugh, parents smile, the hungry are fed. Everyone eats until they are completely full, not a taste, not a tiny bite, full. And then comes one of the most stunning details of the whole story. Jesus tells the disciples to gather what's left, and they collect 12 full baskets of leftovers. They started with almost nothing, and ended with overflowing abundance. A picture of what happens when the little we have meets the limitless power of God. This story leaves us with 4 powerful truths. 1. God sees our needs long before we ever ask. 2. Whatever we surrender, no matter how small, can be multiplied. 3. This miracle points to a deeper spiritual hunger within every human heart. 4. Jesus is the true bread of life, the one who satisfies forever. All of this began with one small offering from one unknown boy. Something simple, ordinary, insignificant, until he placed it in Jesus' hands. So here's the question. What small thing in your life, a talent, a moment, an act of kindness, could God multiply if you offered it with faith? Here's a quick question for you. How many baskets of leftovers did the disciples collect after everyone had eaten? A. 5. B. 7. C. 12. D. 15. Answer in the comments. If this story touched you today, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and comment your favorite part of the miracle. And hey, if you enjoy powerful biblical stories told cinematically, make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this. Your support helps this channel reach more people with God's Word.